Welcome to the Bowers Inc. Publishing Author Interview Series. This is where we sit down with independent authors from around the world and talk about the stories they're creating, the journeys behind their books, and the ideas that drive them to write. If you love discovering new books, new writers, and stories you won't always find on the bestseller list, you're in the right place. Let's meet today's author.
All right, and welcome in. We are here chatting with author Edward Bowers, who is also the founder of Bowers Inc. Publishing. Eddie, how we doing today?
Doing good. Doing good. How about yourself?
Living the dream.
Always.
So tell us a little bit about you. Kind of introduce us, give our viewers a little bit of an introduction to who you are.
Okay. Well, again, my name's Eddie Bowers. I write all my books under Edward Bowers. And yes, I am also the owner and founder of Bowers Inc. Publishing. About me, I'm me. I mean, I'm 47 years old. I write books. I tell you what to do occasionally. Um, I'm a father of three, twice divorced. Interesting stuff. I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I've been doing martial arts since I was like 9. Um, and yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm me. I'm just a normal guy, just trying to build something for my future, my kids, and in this business to help indie authors get more exposure.
Fair enough. Well, tell us a little bit about that. So, published author, you've got over 20 books out right now, published,
Yes.
over 1,000 book sales. Tell us a little bit about how you got started. What was the great kickoff for you that just made you say, I'm going to write?
Nothing. It was funny enough. I know you and I have talked about this before, just like on personal occurrences. But my first book, so I guess the thing that made me jump into doing this more was actually the encouragement from my second ex-wife. Um, you go through life and you tell people just about your past, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you should write a book with that story." And I would get told that a lot, like in church and whatnot. Um, and my second ex-wife was like, "You should." And so one day I was not really focusing on trying to do this, but I just started typing away in a Word doc, and she just kept kind of looking over my shoulder and saying, "Oh, that's great. Oh, I like how you worded that. You should really publish this." Before the book was done, we split, and I just decided, F it, I'm going to finish it. 10 years later, I did. And from the start date, not from the divorce. But it took me about 10 years to write it. I finally finished it and I published it. And that was a catalyst to write my first self-help book. And then I got bored of self-help books. And then I just started writing fiction from there. So if I had to credit one thing for anybody who knows me or knows things, if you know, yeah, this whole thing came from my ex-wife or my second ex-wife encouraging me to start.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Well, tell
kudos
us a
to
little bit
her.
about, right? Thank you, ma'am. So give us a little insight. So what is, if you had to put yourself in a genre of book, what would you say is your style that you typically write in?
You can't put baby in a corner. No. um, Mainly, I would say that I write more horror or psychological thriller. But overall, I do poetry, self-help books, psychological thrillers, kids' books. I think I've got some sci-fi-esque books. I even dipped my toes, or not books, stories. I dipped my toes into trying to do romance. And I determined after that book, that's not my genre at all.
It's not for everybody. I get
No,
that.
no, even romantic scenes, I falter on. Like that is my shortcoming.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's get a little bit deeper here. So you've got all these books, you're this author. Why start Bowers Inc? What was the draw there for you that said, you know what, I can do this better?
Um, whew, I don't know about better. I mean,
Well, maybe
differently,
different would be the
differently.
right
No,
phrase.
no. All joking aside, just talking to other indie authors and seeing social media plastered with all the struggles that I myself went through. I see other people go through. Um, the little, and I'm not insulting, but like the little clicks. You'll get one author, they get a bunch of friends, and boom, they're in Walmart, they're in Target, they're in bookstores. And I was just like, what if, because of what I've done, I start closing those gaps and not hand it to people, but assist them in getting to the bookstores, getting to the published book, and just make it easier and maybe give them some of their time back. I know a lot of authors, indie authors, are moms, and there's a lot of dads out there. And when they talk about like their time, they want to finish the book, but they got babies to deal with, not deal with, you be with. And
Right.
as a father, yeah, I mean, I don't want to sit there and say, hey, kids, chill out, give dad 6 months to write a book and then publish it and then this and then that, you know. So I wanted to try and see if I could help people who actually wanted their books published close the gap on that and then assist them in getting that reach. Because as a 47-year-old man with MS, I am constantly on social media trying to think, I'm creating this story, this world, this universe. Now I got to promote it. Now I got to come up with some cute TikTok or, you know, catchy YouTube or this post on Facebook. And I was like, what if I was able to make that easier so that the other indie authors could get some time back and actually make money instead of forking out all their money on their hard-earned work or labor to a publishing company, a traditional publishing company. So, like I said, definitely different. Definitely. And I couldn't do it without you guys that are helping me with this, honestly. I
Okay.
definitely couldn't.
Well, that's very cool. So let's talk a little bit more about your books. So, every author is asked, where does the story come from? I want to know, you build these worlds. I personally have read some of your books, and you build these great intricate worlds. Where does that come from for you? Is it just shows up one day like it's always been there, or is it something you sit down and you think, here's a cool idea, maybe I'll do this? Like, walk me through that a little bit.
So I was dropped on my head a lot as a child. So that's probably where, um, it's, I want to say that, I get my cup of coffee, I sit out on the back patio, and nature inspires me. I don't have a Hollywood answer for that. There are times where I'm on the toilet and a story pops up. I'm watching a movie and a story pops up. I'm missing my kids because I have two older ones and one little one. And a story pops up. Or I'll be on the phone with my little boy and a story pops up. Or he literally tells me I need to write XYZ. And that's where a lot of it comes up. I mean, even to the point of I could see a plastic bag blowing across the parking lot or street and an idea might pop up, you know? So, and talking with people like you, um, things come up. You'll ask questions about one of my stories and they'll either give me a whole new book or a sequel or a prequel. And just based off of conversations you and I had about my book 86, it turned it into a 4-book saga. So
All right.
anything and everything causes my brain to start thinking, start
It's just
expanding.
everywhere. Okay. Very cool. Well, so let me ask you this. Do you ever feel more connected to one book than the others? Is there, if you had to say there is one book that is my baby, it is my trust, it is my brainchild, what would you say that is? Or do you have one? I know some authors get really connected and others just like the story is done. It's, out of sight, out of mind. What is it like for you? Do you have a favorite?
I definitely have a favorite. Actually, I got twins. um, so like it's multiples, really, if I'm being honest. So my 86 saga, that is probably right now one of my favorite sagas, one of my favorite sets of books are those books, that story, the characters. And then also my Abaddon series, which is book one's Abaddon, book two is Nightmares and Dreams. Those two separate stories are the ones that I would say are my favorites. Nothing against you, Nafal, but you got to talk nicely to the books they're listening. Um,
Or otherwise, who knows what'll happen?
right. No, but definitely like before I made 86 into a saga, the book 86 itself and Ash, hands down, were I felt as though at that time my best work.
Okay. Very cool. So, Ash, I've read the book. I've read the story. I know Ash very well. And it seems like you just reading the character seems like you really connect with Ash. Would you say that you're maybe more connected with him than some of your other characters?
Ash is, I would say, more me than any of my other characters, next to John from the Abdon books. Um, I put a lot of what I would say just like my friends and situations I've seen and my emotions into those two books or series, than anything else. Not that I, withheld from other books. They just didn't require that from me. But Ash really took like most of, if not all of my struggles, and he was born from that. Um, and John from Abaddon, that's more my, I guess, emotional relationship side. What he's willing to do for a relationship or the love of his life, the woman of his dreams. Um, and so those two characters are the ones that character wise I connect with the most and that have the most of me in them or my experiences in them. So
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It does. It it does, absolutely. So there's one thing I'm always curious about as a reader. We get these great titles of books or these, it's just this one word or this one hit book or where does the title come from? Do you sit down and say, this is the title of my book, here's the story? Does the title come somewhere along the way, or is it just kind of different for each process for you?
It different on each book. Sometimes I'll think of a title and just like you said, like a word or two words or whatever, and I'll just think that just sounds cool, and I'll build a story off of that. Other times I'm halfway through writing and I'm like, this is it. Um, I know I can't remember if I ever told you or if I was talking to somebody else, but it's not out yet. My book Nexus. That one I probably spent the longest on coming up with. I intentionally wanted to come up with the title first. I had that idea because of all the books that I've written or that I've published, most of them. They built this little universe, if you will. And I wanted a book that kind of circled back around to tie them in a bit better, into the same universe. And I wanted one word that really meant kind of that, circular, back to the beginning, nucleus, but that's too scientific. So I couldn't just use that. But Nexus for some reason was just the word that was like, yes, I don't know why. It just was. And there's other books that I'll write the whole thing and I'll sit on it for days, weeks, months, you know, just trying to think what would encompass that story, what title would work for that. So I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to my titles.
Got you. Okay, well that makes sense, I guess. So if you're going to give one message to some of the indie authors out there, maybe who haven't published yet, or they're thinking, I want to write a story, but no, I'm not good at this. What would be the one piece of advice you would give to any new indie author out there who just isn't quite sure their next steps?
I am the worst at giving advice. The worst. Oh, the one piece of, do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. You know, it's not philosophical or anything, but why not? You know, we live one life and we're not guaranteed how much time we've got. And we never know what's going to cause life to get harder each day. You know, it's not like back in October of 2023, I said, I want MS. I want this to mess with my body, you know, mess with my writing and things like that. So just do it. If you got the story, get it on paper. Just write it. And if you want, after it's written, if you want to take those next steps, obviously reach out to Bowers Inc. We're going to help you out. But do it. I mean, why not? You know, why not? It could turn from just, oh, I had a cool idea into, holy cow, they're making a movie of my story now. You know, you never know. And it's fun. It's cathartic to write in my mind, you know, so
Right.
get that information out, get that story out, keep it inside. You're going to be like a teapot boiling up, and one day you're going to look back and be like, man, I should have finished that. You're right, you should have.
Fair enough.
I mean,
So, sorry.
no,
Fair enough. So, tell us a little bit about what are you working on now? What's the next project for you?
oh, besides growing Bowers Inc. and getting it out
Besides
there,
growing
that
Bowers
is
Inc. and
that
creating
is
this amazing
definitely
company.
that is definitely a project. Woo. Um, so I'm doing a couple things besides the business. Working with another indie author on kind of a collaboration of short stories.
Okay.
I'm working on a novel for myself right now, as well as another, possibly, I'm not 100% sure on this, seeing how it goes, but another uh, short story book. I've already got one, and it's called Tales of the Threshold. Is that what I called it? I think that's what I called it. I'm starting to forget my books.
It is. I've read it.
But yeah, so those are the three or four main things I'm working on right now, project wise.
Okay.
Book wise would be those three. The short story book for me. Every once in a while, I do a little poetry. I'm still not sure. Still not sure if I'm ever going to release my poetry like in book format. It's on my TikTok. Yes, I know, Eddie, almost 50 on TikTok. But hey,
Not just for kids anymore, you know.
why not, right?
So, okay, I have to ask. So, you have these amazing novels, but then you've got some short stories. When do you know that it's only going to be a short story? Does it start off thinking, I'm just going to write and see where it goes, and then it's like, hey, I can complete it here? Or is it, I know for a fact I'm only going to write this as a short story, so I need to plan out how far this
Nine,
goes?
yeah, 9 times out of 10, I would say that I plan on it to be a short story, but by the time I'm done with the short story, like for instance, Jingles in the Dark, which is in my book, Tales of the Threshold, that one was intended to just be a short story. And if you read the short story and then you read the novel, you'll notice my characters are different names. And it is a little bit of a different not necessarily scenario, but there's differences because that short story basically bred a bigger offshoot. And also in that book, there's I forget what the name of the story is, but it's journal entries. That's all it
Mhm.
is journal entries made up. I don't journal anymore. I don't have a diary. But that is what helped breed 86. And then, like I said, like after you read it, and the questions you had and some of your friends had, that bred origins. And then I didn't answer all y'all's questions. So not only did I write 86, the prequel, then I had to write the sequel. And then all of that birthed the fourth book coming out this year on Halloween Day.
Oh, wow.
So
That's amazing.
it's just weird how, like, not my brain works, but how the stories flow conceptually into my head and then out. But yeah, with short stories, um, I would say that I come up with an idea, I write the short story, and if something more comes, instead of expanding it, I just work on if I want to, feeling wise, write that into a novel or not. So
Interesting.
very unstructured, very unstructured.
I mean, everybody's got a process, right?
Right. Yeah. My process is throw this and this and this and then turn the blender on.
I guess if it works, it seems to definitely work for you.
I
So,
mean, I think it's working, you know.
well, so really quick here before we end this, where can viewers find you? Where can we find your books? How can we get a hold of some of the books?
So all of my books right now are available on Amazon.
Mhm.
You can literally type in Edward Bowers and it'll take you to my author page or pull up some of my books. I've got my website for my books, edwardbowersbooks.com. And then obviously for the business, I do have a profile page there that I'm building up and it'll have links on it soon. But that's Bowers Inc. Publishing, and that's INK like tattoos instead of
Okay.
INC like incorporation. But Bowers Inc. Publishing, that's where I list all of our authors. I do links to profile pages so anybody can go and find themselves like a new author. And if they support indie authors, they can click on their links and buy their books there too. So, as well as mine. Please buy my books. But need the ASPC area, whatever, this dog, this author,
Stop its author.
save an indie author for $5.99 a month. But those are the places that you can go. Anybody can go and find my books, buy my books. Um, I'm gonna be, let's see here. I'm working on bookstore deals, um, and let's see here. I'm in one up in Brazil, Indiana. And on August 22nd, I'm doing my first book signing in Ackworth, Georgia. So
Oh, very nice.
that information is also on my website, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. So, and YouTube. And I have an address, a P.O. Box number that people could find and find me that way. I'm everywhere. I am a bad penny. You can find me anywhere.
Very nice. Well, Eddie, thank you. It's been so much fun talking to you, and hopefully we get to see much more of you in the future.
Appreciate
It's
that.
been a pleasure.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Bowers Inc. Publishing Author Interview Series. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to support independent authors, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future interviews and new voices in indie publishing. You can also learn more about this author and discover other independent writers by visiting Bowers Inc. Publishing on the web. Independent stories grow because readers choose to support them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next author interview. Made by authors, for authors.